Welcome to tutorial is, and in this video you are going to learn React Router. So in this video I will discuss that how React Router works and how you can use React Router to load part of the website. So in this figure you can see it's an example of home, about, services, contact. So suppose you have these four menus. So when user clicks on home, then it should redirect to home. When user clicks on about, then user should be taken to about page. When user clicks on services, likewise. So in traditional programming languages like PHP, ASP.NET, JSP, etc., what happens if user clicks on home, then whole page loads. So it takes time. Similarly, if user clicks on about page, then rather than loading the content of the about page, it loads the complete page, the whole header, footer, center, everything. So it is time taking. But React.js detects through virtual DOM. As you know, in React.js, there is a concept of virtual DOM where the actual DOM and the virtual DOM is mapped, both the DOMs, and only the part of the changes loads into virtual DOM or into web application. So we will see step by step how to use React Router and how this works with example as well. So let's see with practical example. So first, let's open CMD or command prompt. In my case, I always use here Node.js with administrator permission. So I will go here and then in my D drive, cd React JS classes. It's cd React classes. Okay. So inside this, I will create a project npx create React app. Then here will be project name React router example. Now we will install with this npx create React app router example. Project being created. Now let's do this cd. Okay, cd, and now npm start. And this is our newly installed React app. Now we need to install this module npm install React Router DOM to use the feature of router. In the meantime, we will open here Visual Studio Code. And now let's once again run npm start. So this is my Angular project. So now just I'm going to close it, close folder, and then open folder. It's in my D drive. So React classes, React class, yeah, in this folder, and then router example. Now let's go to src folder and click here, and then this is our app, and now we will create few more. Let's delete it for the timing. Header, then header class app. We will create a few more components, say function about. Here return, then inside return we will write here div and div. So h2 tag, this is about page. Actually the component behaves as a page. Okay, about services, then so this is service page. This is contact page. Okay, so we have here few components. Now let's go here and then let's write here return router, and then we will close router here, router. And then we will write here for navigation, say UL, then LI, and we need to import here browser router as router and routes. We will use that later. Here in LI section, LI, then link to, here will be link to home. So rather than LI, inside LI we need to write here link to home and home. That means this is for home page. So now let's copy it. About services and contact. So here we will write about, then services, contact us, services, about us. Okay, now we will write here below this routes, and then routes close. And then inside this routes we will write here route path. Actually this router will be outside of this, and also let's keep this DRV outside of this. Okay, so routes, router, and here what's red, children, this router is outside. Oh, inside, the DIV will be inside actually here. No? Yeah, now it's fine, because first is router, then DIV, then router, so it close will be. So now home, and then about this, let's make it capital, about services as capital, contact C capital. So here will be this component name services, and here services. Similarly here contact home about, no, it will be about. Okay, let's copy it before. Yes, home, about services, and then contact, and then here contact. Okay, so this cannot find route, so we need to define here a route as well. Let's import here route and this link also. Now the error should have gone. Okay, now let's check here. Home is not defined. Home, capital home is not defined. So home is defined. H capital home. Okay, we don't have home, so let's create one more component called home, and this is home page. This is home page, right? Yeah, not successfully compiled. Now let's check into the browser. Okay, so now this is our output. Of course it's not good looking, but at least you can see it's working here. So somehow the services is not working, about is not working. So let's check here. About, this is about page, this is about, and here about, about services contact. So yeah, all looks fine. Let's check here. Press home, about, services, contact. Why about is not working? There's something wrong. About us. Okay, here we have written about us. It will be simple about. Okay, so now refresh it. In home, about, it's opening, services, this is also opening, and contact, this one is also opening. So as you can see, it's very easy to set the router in React.js. Now let's do one thing. Let's use Bootstrap to make it nicer. So just I'll click on here, the HTML code. Let's go here, then index.html public. Go inside public, then index.html, and let's paste here. Okay, in app.js we will write here class name container. So this time it has come this side. So container is not container, class name container. Yes, and for this menu we can also use Bootstrap navigation. Bootstrap nav bar. Let's use any simple Bootstrap nav bar. Let's use this simple one. This one, let's copy it and we can paste here. So let's see how does it look like. Yes, this is our navigation. Okay, so here we can just copy or cut this section and we will put it here, and then class name just remove this. So our home is not there, this home. So when I click, then you can see it's opening home. So similarly we will put another links there as well. For about, let's copy here, and this link class name we will just copy and paste here. Let's delete this. Now after this, so this one is about and home is there, Now about what is remaining services, let's cut it here, let's paste here class enabling services and finally contact. Okay, same class we will use here as well. Now let's delete this whole section. And here as you can see, now it looks better. So I click, then you can see the pages are opening here below. So this is one line, that's why. So if you copy some text and paste somewhere like okay, let's just copy here, and then inside about I will paste here under p tag, just paste here in about section. Okay, now if you check here, let's delete this. Where is yes, you can see in about section this is heading and this one is text. So this way guys, you can see it's easy to set the router. The main thing is that you can see only this section is changing rather than refreshing the whole page. You can see if I click here service, then only this section is changing, not all. If I click on contact, you can see it's changing this one only. Let me show you its technical section. So if you control shift N, that means if you go to inspect element and go to elements here and then click on root, inside that you will see this container and then nav and this section. So when we click here, you can see this flashing, right? This flashing, that means what? React only refreshes this section, not whole page. You can see header, footer, all these things are static, nothing is changing, only these two sections are changing here. You see, not even nav. Yeah? You see here carefully, nav is static, that means navigation itself is not changing. So that's it in this section, and the next section I will show you how to pass parameter. Okay, so in the next section we will learn how to pass parameter and get that parameter into the next page or child page. So in this section of router, I will discuss about how to pass parameter from parent component to child component. So you will learn, because you know there are some cases when you need to pass the value from parent component to child component, and in child component that value we fetch and display there. So let's continue with our previous example, and we will modify our code to pass the parameter from a parent component to child component. So in this section we are going to just make changes here. What we will do, uh, let's create separate page for this. Okay, for home, let's create here src and then new file. We'll write here home.js. So let's paste here, home is created. Then now about, okay, let's right click on this and about.js, save it. So services, for services, these are child component we are creating. So services.js, inside this here, and then what are these, contact. Right click on this and create here contact.js. Okay, so our page is created. Remember, we need to export as a here as well. Export default and then this contact. Only then we can import this module or component actually. So inside our all component we have to do same. Export default home, export default here home, and in services, what are the other pages we created? Contact, it's already there, home, then services, then here services and about. So about where is that? About dot test. There is no page for about. Yeah, this is here. So about, then export default about. Okay, this page. Now in our main app.js file we need to import those components. So import about first home from about home. Okay, similarly we will import all other home about services contact. Okay, over here we need to change, because if there is export default, in that case there is no requirement of this curly braces. So let's simply remove this, or else we will get error here. Okay, okay, so these are the pages. Now let's come here and refresh it. You can see it is working as it is, but this time what we have done, we have separate pages. Now our main motto is, in this case, when we click on this about, then we will pass here parameter like about us, like this. Okay, and this value we will fetch here in this page. If you come from PHP background or any other programming background, then you might be knowing that this query string or parameter we fetch from here in this page, right? Like in PHP we get this with get method. So how we can do same in React JS, we will see it here. So for that we need to write something like this, like say title. Okay, with this column. So in this page also title and title, we will pass the title of the page in each section, and here in about section we will write like this, about us, and here slash services page, and in this one contact page. Okay, yes. So now let's check here, refresh. If you click here, you can see the parameter is being passed here. This 20% is because of space. Then services, you can see this one is passing. So what we will do, whichever value we are passing here, it should show here, this one. Okay, this value will come from here, not the static one. This value will come from the URL, not the static one. Okay, so what we will do, in the child page, like about, let's write here code this. So we will write here let title equals to use params. Okay, and as you can see, automatically this one is imported. And yes, there is some mistake here, so we need to import here actually. Okay, now this title we will show here. Okay, like this. So just show the title here in this case. So this is about us page, right? Now let's refresh it, and you can see this one is coming from here, that about us. This about us is coming from this URL. So this data we are passing from parent component and receiving into child component. So how it's possible? Let's recap it again. If you go here app.js file, then what we have done, we have passed here with column parameter. Okay, so this one is title. Remember, whatever name you pass here, with the same name you need to access here. About, with the same name you can access huge params title. For example, if I write here titles huge params title. Okay, so that's the thing. That means we are passing the parameter and receiving from this function, and you need to access this one. So you need to import this huge params, only then you will be able to access. And as I mentioned before, the name must be what you have uh, mentioned here. So we have mentioned here title, so in that case we need to access this with title only. For example, if I just write here s, increase s, and here as well titles, then if you refresh the page you can see the title is missing here. It's not showing because we have given here name, title, and we are accessing through title. So if I pass here s as well in this page, only then it will show here. So that's important, you need to bear in mind. So similarly with other pages also, you can just write this code huge params and the title, so it will display in your other pages also. For example, if I write here in this about the services, and then this title will just display here inside h2 tags here. What's wrong? Title. Oh, this one is missing here, right? And in app.js, here we have already passed here service page. So refresh it. What does it say? Which parameters is not defined here. In this page, we have not defined huge parameters. That's why we are getting this error. So this needs to be imported here as well in service page. Now if you refresh, then you can see in service also, service page home about. What happened? There is something wrong. Okay, titles, it will not be titles, it will be title. And I think in about also I made a mistake by putting this s. Just remove it, and then you can see this one is coming from here, and services service page is coming from here. So this way you can pass the parameter from parent component to child component. We will discuss about nested routes in first section. In first chapter you have seen how to use routes. In second chapter you learn how to use routes with parameter, and in this section we are going to learn we are going to discuss about how to use nested routes. That means routes inside routes. So for example, if you go service here, and inside service there are three more sections. So if we click on any one of these, then it should take me to its individual page. So let me show you with example. So in this section what we are going to do, if user clicks on service, then the list of the services it should show here. Okay, like first service, second service, like website design, website development, digital marketing. So this kind of services, it should show under the service page. So for that, what we will do, let's create a separate component called service list.js. Okay, here it's right here, function service list, and inside here return now. So inside service list, it will be like this. So here we will write an array. So here we will create services inside that an object. Okay, inside that title. So website design services, then description on of the best site services company, like this. Okay, so in id1, then id2, id3, we are writing here three services. Okay, so it will be id2 and then id3. Here we will write website development services, one of the best website development services company. Okay, and here in the third one, digital marketing services, digital marketing services, one of the best digital marketing, best digital marketing services company. So we have three array here. Okay, now we will look through this one. We will write here object dot entries dot entries, then here this services dot map, then slogan title. We will pass these two parameters. There will be slogan and then here, sorry, here actually here it will be only one, then this one here will be not curly braces but this parenthesis, and here one more curly braces, this one will be closed here, right? And here also one more curly parent. In here let's start this ul and we will close here ul. Inside this let's start li and then li. Okay, so for the time being we will write here that means this li will be looping through. Inside here we will write, so we will write here link to, then services, and here this url will be passing here. Okay, and then finally it will show title. So if you run the program, for the time being you will not see anything, you will not see any difference in service page. So now we need to use router outlet. In the service page, we will call here outlet. Here in app.component.js file, we are going to create here child routes. Okay, so here, here this route and inside route. You see this carefully. This one is, and inside this it is nested on. So check here, it is not closing. In all the routes it's closing, right? Here it's not closing. Actually the closing is here. So don't mistakenly put here forward slash. Don't put forward slash. Here will be forward slash. What is happening here? When we click on services, then this page will load as well as this will load. And remember one more thing, there must be forward slash. In this case, here there will be no forward slash, but in child route there will be forward slash. Okay, so this is the main thing. So whatever child route you want to put here, you can put all the list here one by one here also. Okay, so this is the main point you should remember. And now here we will make changes in services. Let's remove this, it's not required. So it will be simple services, and here also services, and this will for title. So when we will click one more thing here in service list, inside service link we need to call this as router link, because we are using here link. And that's it. So I think only link is sufficient here, so we don't need all these things. Okay, because we are using link here, and here we are passing link to then services and then slug. Here this slug, that means the id will. So for this we will write the code later, but here for the time being we are displaying there the list. Okay, when we will, the idea is here. And one more thing here, so we have called here link, and in service page we need to use here outlet. Okay, we need to call here outlet, not all these things, so let's remove. So we need to use outlet. So what will happen when we click here? Okay, so you can see this is home. Let's remove it. Then home page, about, then it's showing about, contact, showing contact. But service, then it will show the list of the services which is coming from this one, this service. You can see this title. Then I've not shown here description in this one, so only title we are showing here. You can see the website design, website development, and digital marketing. These three fields are showing here. If we increase something else here 4, then it will show there 4 as well. So 4 here, you can see automatically it came here. So I'll write here mobile apps services. Okay, you can see automatically it came here mobile app services. Actually in future this data is static, but this will come from API. Okay, so in practical life this data normally comes from API. So fetching from API, you will display this kind of services here. Now our idea is that when we click this web design service, then a separate page should open, and then the details of that one should come. This is the ID1. So based on the ID1, so now we will, what we will write here, let's create one more component called, let's create one component called single service. Okay, single service.js. Yeah, so let's create function function single service. Okay, then here return, and inside here we will write huge params, then slug, because yeah, and yes, here we need to pass one more routes. Here we will write slug or id, whatever you like. Okay, I'm passing inside id. Okay, so here will be single service. Automatically it called imported single service, delete again, single service. Okay, so when we will click on individual link, it will go to single service. Okay, so now, okay, we're getting this error that single service is not defining. Yes, it's correct. So import single service from single service. That's it. So now this error is gone, and unexpected token line number 64 in single service.js, line number 64. It's very single service here. Yeah, so because we have not written anything here, so for the time being, let's write here empty tag, and then h12 tag, h2, and write here single service this page. Okay, it says that huge params is not defined. First thing, so huge params we need to define here. Import use params from React router dot. Okay, so this error is gone now, and here we need to write id because we have passed here id, right? Here we have passed id, that's why. So single service, and here export default, then single, it is single service, we need to export this. Only then we will be able to import it anywhere. So now it's single service, and then let's check here, and yes, you can see when I click here, it's showing home, about, service. Then if you click any one of the service, then you can see the id is passing here. If I click on web development, then it's showing page 2. If I click on digital marketing, it is showing page 3, like this. But we need to display the real data, not the fixed one. It is static one. Okay, so what we will do here, let's do one thing. This data we require there also. Okay, so what we will do, let's cut it from here, and then let's create from in this src we will write as data.js. okay, inside this let's write it and export default this services, so its name should be different because page name is also services, service list, make it service list. Okay, service list. So wherever there is service we need to change it service list, but there is service list also. So service, let's name it data list. Okay, so here also data list we need to change, and in service list we need to call this. Okay, import data list from data list data. Okay, so and yes, here we need to change it services rather than data list, because this now it will come from there only. And why it somewhere else? Service list, no, service list edition. This is the page name, services, that's it. I think now it's more. So let's check. Yeah, this data is coming. Okay, now when we click it should come individual data. So what we will do, this service list, where is this service list? This one is not required here, it's not needed, remove it. And in data, not data, single service. Okay, here we need it to call just like that, service list. This data list we need to call here in single also, and here we will pass this id into this data list. So the code will be something like this. Here the const post data list then id. This id, that means based on the id it will fetch particular data. Okay, so suppose here is 1, then it will fetch the data which is matching id 1. Okay, so this is the post. Now inside post we have to do destructuring. That means this post contain title as well as description. So now we are destructuring it, that means we are individually differentiating it or dividing it. So here it will be title. Let's write here title, and below will be description. Here will be description. So this one, yes. Now let's go to home page, about services, then click on this. You can see web design services coming, and this is description. I go here, click, it is showing website development services, digital marketing, showing here one of the best service company. If I click here mobile services, so guys, you are seeing this is really very interesting. Let me recap it, how it's working, all the things in services page. Okay, let's go to app.js once again. What we have done here, we have just removed the previous title, okay, from here services, and now this is services, and here we have put here nested routing. This is individual writing, individual, then individual. Now this is combined one. Okay, and here there is no forward slash, as well as there is no forward slash here, but in this case there is forward slash, and in first case this is services. Okay, and in second case there is service list. That means what? Let's see here. Let me write here something, then you will understand it better. Service, this is our service page, right? So here I will write, rather than title I will write, let's remove it because it's not required in this page anymore. So right here, our services services. Okay, so this one you can see our services is actually now compare with the code. Okay, this text, this whole area is actually, sorry, this whole area, this whole page or component is main component. That means this whole component is this one. Now this outlet is actually this section, inner section. Okay, and what is this outlet? This outlet is actually coming from this service list. Okay, actual में in actual this outlet is service list. So how it is detecting? That's the main question. How it knows that when we write here outlet, it will fetch this service list? Yes, because we have defined here in this section in routes here that when user click on service, then two pages will load. This main page, that means our services. So our services written in this one, and the list will come, both will come together, this one as well as this one. So inside this there is list, got it? That is why an outlet is written here, outlet is written in this one, so automatically it loads here, that means in parent component. So hope you understand this. And this one is different, this one is for child component. So when we click, then id passes this id and we fetch the id here in single data. Okay, and then display the data fetching from here. So let's see here service. When we click service, then main component loads, then child component. If we click here, then this route runs. This route this time is working, this one, no sorry, this one, this route is working. So what is happening here? ID is passing and then single service, ID is passing, then title and this description. So guys, hope you like this video, and if you have any question or queries, don't forget to write in comment. And still you have not subscribed my channel, then please subscribe my channel. So thank you for watching. Bye bye.